What's going on, everyone? Welcome to Programming Code, and today is the start of a brand new series where I just think of or find random beginner projects, mostly in Java, off the internet or off the top of my head, and I try to find a solution to them, and then record my process. Hopefully, people who are new to Java or just programming in general can kind of get a feel for how things go, and really get some projects under their belt. Now, like, by no means are these projects very extremely complex or on the higher tier, I guess, of projects, but this is definitely a good place to start, especially if you haven't done any projects before. The only requirements going into this project is that you kind of know the basics of Java and or just the basics of object-oriented programming just in general. So, things like C# will also work. You can do this project any language you want, as long as you get it to work. But we'll be doing it in Java, so you guys want to follow along and we can get started here. So, I mean, let's take a look at requirements here. This project is, I just thought of it off the top of my head. I thought it'd be a good beginner project. So, our objective is to make a bank ATM project. So, kind of have it so that it looks or feels like the user's interacting with an ATM. So, the requirements for this project are the user, or you need to be able to create a new user. And each user needs to store the user's name, so first and last name, their email address, their account balance, how much money they have in their account, and their PIN number. And down here, I also redefined set a user PIN. So if someone forgets their PIN number, they can reset it. I mean, you wouldn't be able to do it in ATM, in real life, but just for the purpose of this project, we'll give the user that option. And then alongside that, we obviously want to be able to deposit and withdraw money from the account. And then of course, we want to see how much money we have. So to get started with that, I have a brand new project here. As you can see, there's nothing going on here at all. So I thought to say, let's get started here. And um, we can do a while true loop, make an infinite loop. And this is horrible practice. You should never do it, but for purposes of this for this project and what I'm doing, it'll work for us. I encourage you to go through this project, see if you can do it yourself before just blatantly copying everything I do. Or if you do blatantly copy everything I do, that's also fine. Just see if you can improve things in some ways, like this while true can be improved. But yeah, I'll leave it up to you guys. Okay, so let's get started. Um, we have the while true here, but I don't think that's where I want to start. Where I want to start is I want to be able to create a new user. Then I'm gonna come over to this project tab, go under here, create a Java class, and we'll call it user. Very, very good stuff. Very um revolutionary things. So let's make a private first name, private string last name. And if I seem kind of I don't know how to explain it, kind of all over the place. I don't do these projects before I start recording, so yeah, this is just me raw recording, looking at the requirements and just going off of that. So some things might seem a little clunky, but I want you guys to get like a real authentic experience here. Let's close this tab to get a better view. So the first name, last name, what else do we need? Email, account balance, and PIN. Do a private string for PIN, IN. Go. PIN, private. Now let's do a private. Let's make it a float for count. Cool. So now we'll need structure. There, we'll take in a of last name, string of PIN of mill, take in floats. I actually just thought about this. I want to make this a capital. Just in case I want to do some fancy stuff with it, we will make it an object instead of a primitive. And we'll make that the account balance. So from here, we'll just do, I know there's like a whole generator for this stuff in IntelliJ, um, but I just kind of want to write this out in case, you're new. I don't want you to resort to auto generating stuff. I want you to have a solid grasp on what you're supposed to be doing here. We'll use this first name to denote that we're talking about um, this object here and not this one, even though they have the same name. It's definitely recommended to do it that way. For this dot last name, last name, this dot uh, this dot account balance, account balance. Cool. There, we'll also want to not make it private. Um, let's do that first name in case we ever want to. Um, I don't think we'll allow the user to set the first name, but if we want to, we have that option here. So we'll want to have a string of first name. This first name was first name, and then we go through all the rest also. But I think for the rest of the, we're gonna do this generate, and I know I said I wouldn't do it, but we're doing it. Okay, that put them. I don't know why they put it right there, but whatever. All right, I guess it just didn't do it, but um, yeah, I'm going back on what I said about um not using generators. So I think it's alt insert and then getters and setters for all of them. I just shift click that, hit OK, and it looks like it put everything up here. So we will get rid of that, put it down here because I like to have my constructors at the top, and that's usually how everyone codes. So I recommend doing that. So it looks like we have everything: get pin, set pin, nil, get account balance, set account balance. So I know on our requirements, we also wanted to be able to deposit and withdraw money from our account. So instead of doing set account balance here, we could do deposit money. And here we're gonna do amount. Spelled that. Amounts. And then this is dot account balance plus amount. And then that should be good for that. We'll also want a public. Well, actually, let's make this a string. Or not a string, a float. And then let's return this dot account balance. Like I said, I'm kind of all over the place, but just kind of the raw in the moment kind of coding here. Let's see here, floats, and then we'll do raw money. We'll make a amount here. We'll do. Let's see here. I think here we need to make a decision if we want the user's account to be able to be negative or not. And just for the purposes of this video, we will allow their account to go negative, but if you're coding along, I encourage you to implement a system that would prevent the user from going into a negative balance. But for the purposes of this video, we will allow it. We'll do this dot account balance minus amount, not comma, dot account balance. Okay, so I think, yep. Okay, so we have everything. That's cool. And by default, we already have this covered, but I also want to be able to let the user reset this. We have that covered. We have deposit, withdraw money from account covered in that class. So now we can actually start coding and getting the logic into this. So let's see here. If we down here, go, what do we want here? Pick a user. Need, actually, let's do this. Let's do this. Null. And then down here, come in here and go. We can use our methods. Get some methods going here. It could be a private method, doesn't matter. Actually, what do we do here? What do I want to do? All right, I think I've got what I want to do here. So we're gonna want to print out. We're gonna do some checks here. We want to come down here and say if there equals null. You'll see why we're doing this check later, because it looks like it's always gonna be null, because the first time we come in here it will be null. We want to come down here, private sign in. I guess we could do that. We don't need any parameters there. Do user sign in or create new. And then down here we'll do out ln. Here we want to say welcome to, I don't know, the bank of Java. Sure. And then we'll do system dot out dot, oh, I want line. Let's get started and create an account for you. I don't want to sound too excited. I was going to do another exclamation point, but it sounds a little too excited. And then, by the way, if you want to do this, like I'm doing the shorthand version, just type in sout and then tab. I'll do system out dot println. Just a little quality of life thing for you guys there. So from there, we'll ask some questions. What's your first? And then from here, we can do we can create a buffered reader to read the input from the console. What I'll do here is do buffer. We'll call it reader buffer reader. And in here, I'll pass put string here of dot looks good. What this is essentially doing is we're creating a new buffered reader to read whatever the user is input. So from here we will now we'll call it first equals reader dot read line. Cool. What's the issue here? Oh, we need to add an exception. We need to add this throws exception. So to do that, we'll also need to add it up here, because since this method flip around, Since this method right here throws it, this method that calls has to throw it. And we could catch it. Um, we will do. Try that. Catch IO exception. There was error creating or account time. Let's try that again. And then below that, we will do. And basically, what this does, got to, I forgot the name of the variable there. What essentially this is going to do is it's going to try to create a new user. If there's some IO exception, like something weird happens, we will then say there's an error creditor count. Let's try again, and let's continue. We'll skip everything else in this while loop, and we'll go right back here and try it again. Get rid of that. Cool. Cool. So first thing, do what's last name? That too. Reader.readline. Ask what's that? Readline. And from there, what else do we need? We have the pin, which we can ask for after the account balance. Let's see. Yes, now I just need the pin. Um, okay, so what question mark? And then I'm gonna do something a little weird here. I might go back on this, but we'll see. Um, Float. I'll specify here needs number. And let's get a little fancy here. We'll do a 4-digit number. Put that in parentheses. And we'll do the string real quick. And you'll see where I'm going with this. Reader.read. Let's see. Before I go back on that. This is valid. False. While is valid pin. While it's not a valid pin, we're gonna go ahead and try this. What do you want your pin to be? It needs to be a 4-digit number, and if pin dot length, it needs to be a 4-digit number. We're good to go. And now we can try to create our float, which let's have it be 0 for now. Let's do this. And oops, I did this wrong. We'll do this pin float pin string, pin string, float. We'll do that. And then let's say, what else do we want to do here? I want to do float dot parse float, the pin string. And from there, we catch a, we'll just catch a normal error for now. And we'll say was invalid. Oh wait, I just realized I'm doing a float for pin. This just needs to be a string. All right, I'm way off with this. We don't need any of that. We can make this a string for pin. For here, if it doesn't equal 4, so if it's not 4 digits, and let's think here. Because now actually we need to make sure that it is digits. So again, this is just kind of some of the drawbacks when I don't think through these things ahead, but again, it's part of the process. So it does need to be numbers. Let's undo that. Digits. So for this, we can still make this a string. Still be pin. We don't need this. Read that. Set this to pin. Integer dot parse. We'll only want an integer here, so do an integer. So this way we check to make sure that it is in fact a 4-digit number. So if I can't parse it, it means there's some kind of character that uh would be invalid. So whether it's a decimal point, a comma, a letter, none of that would be allowed. Try that, and then if that's true, so if we get past this, it means it's valid, which means is valid pin. And yeah, we're good. So there, that solves that issue. Getting a valid pin. So from here, now we need to ask, would you like to deposit? As of now, their bank account is empty. So for here, now we want to how much they want to deposit. Um let's see. Type yes if you want to. We'll just say that. Then from here we will do string enter equals reader.readline. Yes dot ignores case answer, just in case they put in a capital Y for yes. Just make sure we're just checking to see if they say yes or not. You will want to pay them, tell them, great, how much? From here, we'll do uh, mount reader.readline. From there, we will do, let's see here. We need to make sure that's a valid amount. So I think what we're going to do here is private Boolean um, is valid number, pass in a value here. We can do try float. We'll use a float because they might need to deposit um like $5.06 or something like that. So float is valid equals float dot parse float value. And from here we catch parse exception. Here we will oop, oop, I didn't mean to click on that. We need to add the exception. Oh, Alt Shift Enter. I've been on a Mac for so long that Shift Enter. Go Enter. All right. So what's the problem here? Why is renaming? That works. Whatever. I don't know why it's doing that, but whatever. So we'll do is valid. So if there is, I guess, yeah. Here's what's gonna happen. If it is valid, we'll return true, meaning this is a valid number. Um, or if it's false, or like if there is an exception and it's not a valid number, return false here. So I'm also thinking save on be more efficient. Could return a float. Instead of returning false, we can return null. Instead of returning that, we can is valid. I don't know. That sounds about right to me. Converted is valid number amount. And then here we're gonna do if converted amount doesn't equal null. UR thing reminds me do this. The an integer is valid pin is valid number. Pass in the pass this. Why can we not do that? It's telling me cast it for some reason, even though I know I've casted it the other day. Um, that's fine. Don't need this anymore. Get rid of if enter. Actually, if it does equal, if it doesn't equal 4 digits, 4 digits long. Boom. Good to cool. And then after the pin, we have everything we need to make an account. So down here, user equals user last name. What else? Pin email account balance. What's the problem here? Not have been initialized. So just to satisfy it, we'll set it equal to an empty string. That needs to be a float. Um, yeah, that works. And here, if they want to create, or if they want to make an initial deposit, make a float converted amount is valid number. So it's a valid number. It's not null. Else, uh, you print out that's not valid number. Here we want to do dot deposit money converted amount, and that should be good. Return user. That seems like a lot, but now we've got all the user's information. So here, the user is null. Sign in and create a new user. And we're good to go there. So if we're not, we do have a cool thing here. So we have a user signed in. I think we'd want to take another method down here. Private void um play option. Don't need anything there. Actually, let's pass in our user. Just so we can get their first name and their yeah, just their first name. Hello plus user dot get first name. What can the bank Java do for you? And then from here we can just option one would be to deposit money to deposit. Let's hit that. Raw. Hate it. Third, we will say check balance, and that's all we need to do. So there we go. Then let's do the buffered reader again. Buffered reader. Dot here. I just thought of something. Let's get new lines so we get like a good bit of clearance between this line and that. Fonts. Dot line. Let's give the user some more direction here. One, 3. Actually, let's do a fourth option here. 4 exit. Just give them the exit. Don't want to have them stuck in the ATM forever. So again, we need to add the exception. 1, 2. Add it here. Looks good. Looks here. We will do a case response. And for the first case, I haven't used. Oh, stop. There we go. Okay. Or I haven't used a switch in a long time. Like I said, it's kind of just off the cuff kind of stuff. So case number 1, want to deposit money. So how much? And right here, I'd say Boolean deposit successful equals false. Then while deposit successful, and you'll see why we're doing this in a second. Buffer to reader. Mounts buffer to reader line. Here we'll do float converted amount. A number amount. The do if converted amount doesn't was valid. Do here we can see I'm thinking if I want all this in here or not. I don't think I do. So I'm gonna call this because that's display options what it's supposed to do. That's kind of my bad on that one. Do display option, pass in the, and then from here we'll do the buffered reader. Get rid of that. There, cool. So if converted amount doesn't equal, we will say dot deposit money. Converted amount. Go. Now let's make another method that says private vote play balance because we'll be using this quite a bit. There. Actually, don't need to throw this exception anymore. Forgot about that. Return. Be a string also. Balance is have a dollar sign here plus get account balance. There we go. Actually, no, we can make this void. Print this out. Actually, now about it. There we go. Cool. Display account balance. That makes more sense. Call it here. All right, so that's for case 1. Break out of that. Case. Not mean to do that. Stop. There we go. Same thing. I think for 2 we said was withdraw money. So draw false while draw successful. Got to make not do that. How much want to withdraw? Correct. Pretty much copy this entire thing. Paste it. Instead of doing that, we'll do draw money. There we go. I think I realized I need else statement. That's not a valid number. So if the user tries to input something with characters again, we can just tell them that's not a valid number. And then we keep going. It's deposit successful. Draw successful. True. Come down here. Break again. Case. Have the break. Break. Why you're being difficult. Oh, no, sorry. Why is it doing this? Three, which I'm pretty sure is view your account balance. I just realized that's the wrong thing. Play account balance, not options. Oh my god. What a hiccup. So we'll just want to display account balance. Break. There's again. This is our exit, right? Scroll down and see our display options. Or is do that while staying loop. False. Break. So we're all set there. Default case. A option. Try again. Good to me. Break. Cool. So I think we should be good here. Let's go look at our requirements. Be able to create a new user. Check. We have their username, first and last name, email, their account balance, and their PIN. They can set their PIN. That's how we initially set up the account. And then deposit, withdraw money from the account. Oh, we can do that and view the current balance of the account. All looks good to me. Let's import anymore. Or just looking at random things. So it looks good. Let's edit by 7 issues, but let's start your issue. Make all these static for it to run. Okay, we have 2 warnings. Else valid pin. We didn't update that, so that's good. Otherwise, this would have infinite forever. Valid is redundant. You are right, it is redundant. One liner. I have no warnings. Perfect coders. If this works on the first time. I don't know. I haven't tested it all. Let's run it. Welcome. Welcome to the Bank of Java. Let's get started and create an account for you. Typo on there. I said and. What's your first name? Say Java. What's your last name? The Hut. What's your email? At .com. And that's another thing for more advanced people. If you want to create a regex to make sure the user puts in a valid email, you can do that. But for this exercise, uh, I'm not doing it. We're already like 50 minutes in. What do you want your pin to be? Now here's a good way to test out our new. So if I type in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that should be. Pin was not 4 digits long. What do you need? Do you want your pin to be? Type in 1, 2, R. Invalid. Needs to be all digits. Got that right. Now let's try 1, 2. Cool. Accepted that. Would you like to make initial deposit? So if I type in yes, we know that I will make an initial deposit. That's all well and good. Um, let's type in yes. Great, great. How much? Let's see what happens when we type in 0. That should give us an error. That's not a valid number. And I guess I didn't make a loop there, but that's fine. So here, let's type in 67. Sure, I didn't mean to hit the 7, but we fat fingered it just to test our code to make sure it breaks or doesn't break. Hits a default statement. Not a valid option. Please try again. Good. Let's check our account balance. Row. Our new balance is $0. Let's deposit. How much would you like to deposit? Let's see here. If I type in not a valid number, how much would you like to deposit? Type in $5,000 because we are rich. Our new balance is $5,000. Let's deposit. Let's withdraw money this time. How much do you want to withdraw? We want to withdraw 50 cents. Your new balance is $4,999.50. Now why it's doing that is because the trailing is a 0. So it's not going to include that on the float on the printout. But there is a way you can get it to do that, but I'm not going to go into it in this project. Again, that's another quality of life thing that if you would like to add to your project to make it robust, I would recommend doing. So let's try withdrawing more money than we, which, like I said before, this program will allow us to do that. So let's have a negative account balance. So we have no overdraft protection on this account. So now let's out $6,000 because let's just say our car just imploded or something. I don't know. 6,000. So now our new balance is $1,000. Make that in deposits cents. Now we're at a cool even negative $1,000. Super. Exactly where you want your account to be. And last, let's just check our account balance. Yep, 1,000. And now we're done. And there we go. So much worked flawlessly. By pretty much, I mean it did work flawlessly. So yeah, there you guys go. Hopefully found some value in this project. I will upload this to GitHub. So if you want to see the source code for this, go ahead. And this is by far not the cleanest approach. It's not disgustingly dirty, but again, this is just me off the cuff. What comes to my head, whatever the first thing come to my head is, if I sat down with this for a little bit longer, I'm sure I could have a much more efficient program. Although this isn't bad at all. Yeah, hopefully you guys can had a good time with this project, learn something, maybe add it to your portfolio or something like that. And as I said before, things you can do to add to this project would be reset the pin, ask for the user's pin whenever they want to withdraw or deposit money. I can ask for that, match it up. But that's probably for another day. And yeah, have a good one, guys.